What's up, Chaos Nation? 5% Nation. 5%ers and Chaos Nutrition worldwide. Special video today. Rich Piana's birthday being celebrated on Instagram and other social media outlets. Hard to believe. It's been 5 years since we've lost Rich, and he was 47 when he passed. We put him at about 52 years of age. I remember when he first passed away, there were a lot of people that really didn't know whether he was 46 or he's 47. So I'm going with 47. And he'd be 52 today. Boy, how the world has changed in just 5 years of time. Expos just aren't the same. The supplement and sports industry of fitness and bodybuilding, just not the same. You miss waking up to those videos every morning, and God damn it. And good fucking morning. And definitely missing those times. When you look back on it, it was just so raw, so real, and just done impromptu. You know, Rich, something I've taken from him is you don't need to go out and buy an expensive camera and have all this extra, stuff to produce a video. If you guys go back to his videos where, they look like they were just shot on one of the worst Nokia cell phone cameras you could ever buy. And they're getting millions of hits. Now, of course, Rich was larger than life, so, he could have been videotaped on, an 8mm reel, come on, guys. We could have taken Polaroid pictures of Rich, and they would have sold, and they would have gone and went viral. Just who he was. He was an enigma. Someone that just comes around once a lifetime. And he waited a long time. He had a long wait until he blossomed. And then he had a very short takeoff and unfortunately crash landing. It was only a span of maybe 2 to 3 years that this all went on. The 5% mantra had only gone on along probably 2015, and as Rich passed away, he was still climbing. He wasn't at the apex. He still wasn't at the top of where 5% could have gone. Just building those 5-hour lines. Can you imagine 5 years later? I don't know. An expo would have been Rich's expo. Just wild to think about, right? As we, think about Rich's passing and his birthday today, and just wild to look back on, and just to think that was only a couple years of our lives in which we all got to enjoy with him. Seriously, think about it. Maybe early as 2013, maybe 2014, there was a little bit of it, but no, guys, let's look at when people were actually posting and Instagram got lit. It was around that 2015, 2016 time frame, and then, 2017 we tragically lost him. So less than 3 years, man, and like I said, he was still climbing. The guy, I remember being in Ohio with him, and we had almost nothing left to sell. Caleb had been there and a bunch of the other 5%ers, and Rich kind of looked over to us and was like, so we've got nothing but posters and wristbands, and it was, we all just kind of shook our head like, yeah, that's all there is. Maybe a can of pre-workout, but it's probably that flavor that nobody wants today, right? No, we didn't have anything. So people waited in line 5 hours on that Sunday, even though we'd gotten to the expo at like 10, 11 that morning. And it was a shorter day because, of course, it's Sunday. So Sunday is always a shorter day at the expo. And, people didn't care. They were told that, we're out of supplements. They all knew this. They waited the 4 to 5 hours to see him. And, instead of getting, an autographed poster of him or a can of protein or whatever it was, a can of pre-workout, signed, they elected to get, their T-shirt signed. The one that they're wearing. We had some people that went out and literally got a tattoo, came back and showed Rich that he got it, and he signed under that. It was just pretty wild. So, like I said, looking back on it, just an amazing time to be a part of something that was just larger than life, and that's just who he was. And when we created Chaos Nutrition, and I'm just gonna kind of spell it out for some of you guys that probably don't know. Chaos Nutrition was made by myself to promote and sell 5% nutrition products. Now, of course, I had other lines that I was selling at the time, in which we did really well with, but for the most part, man, our bread and butter, our money in the bank was 5%. That's where we did all of our major sales. My buddy Dave and I selling out of the backs of our cars, and wherever we could, we were pumping that 5% because it was the next best thing, man. It was great. It was incredible. Everything was moving. And I've talked about it previously about how the website would crash, and sometimes you'd get a T-shirt in the mail where 5% was on the wrong side. And the best part was we were a part of that generation where we just didn't give a fuck. As long as we had a 5% shirt, we didn't care where 5% was on the shirt. We didn't care. You know what I mean? Let's just be real, right? Some of those shirts back then, Rich got probably at, bear market price. And, I'm looking for a spot here at the gym, and you never can find one around this time. And some of them were burlap sacks, man. I'm going to be just 100% real. And we didn't care. You know what I mean? You didn't care that the logo was on the wrong side. You didn't care that, something was out of place or maybe a little crooked. You're just happy that you had a 5% shirt, man. So, like I say, for a lot of us, man, that's all we really cared about. And, you paid the shipping prices and all that good stuff, and you just made it happen. So, whole lot different world than we live in nowadays where, gosh, if a website crashes, it's the end of the world. If you get a T-shirt that's not quite the way you wanted it, you want a refund, all this, that, and the other. No, back then it was just, you were happy to get a 5% shirt, and sometimes, honestly, they'd send you a gold one, you wanted a green one, they were just out. And you had to understand, man, these guys were, selling product faster than they could make it. And but no, never cop, never bitch, never complained, just went with it. And a lot of times product would be out of stock for months, just because they couldn't keep up with the demand of sales. And you know what? You just bought the next best flavor that, it is what it was, right? If you didn't like fruit punch and grape was available, then a grape it was, or whatever it was. You just went to the next one because you knew the product was great and Rich stood behind it. And if it didn't work, Rich wouldn't sell it. And so Chaos Nutrition was built on that same mantra where, we're not going to put out a product that doesn't work. And I believed in Rich's products. And I still do for the large part. But he's not here to kind of give it its blessing. So, that I did gather from Rich. And if Rich was taking it, then it worked, And if Rich said, that these were the ingredients in it, he pretty much knew everything that was going on. He had his finger on it. And that's just the kind of guy he was. So in celebration of his birthday, I made this quick video before I head into the gym. And I just wanted to, keep his legacy going and keep Rich out there for everybody. Some of you will never get to know who he was, man. Some of you are like, Rich who? And that really bothers me because the guy was such an amazing person. And I know he had his downfalls, and don't we all? None of us are walking around here perfect and prophets and, clergymen of the church per se, but kept it real, man. And that's who he was. And whether you liked it or not, he gave it to you gun barrel straight every single time. He didn't bullshit you. He didn't lie to you. He kept it the way it was. And when he was wrong, he admitted it. And how else can you how else can you bash a guy like that, right? But then again, some still don't like him to this day, and that's okay. And, you know, he wasn't here for a popularity contest, but boy, did he smash that contest, right? He went out of here with a bang, and verified and all. He wasn't verified for most of that time, but we didn't care. We knew it was Rich. We knew who was posting, and that's all that counted. So as you go about your day-to-day, a little thing about Rich, you know, put up a post, put up a tweet, do something cool. And remember the guy that gave so much to so many and never asked for anything in return. Here at Chaos Nutrition, you know, we have a few of his sponsored athletes that still rock with us and, you know, still remember Rich, and we're okay with that. When they wear the 5% gear, we're not one here to trash them, right? You see me on occasion wearing Rich's hats in my videos and so on and so forth, because it just lives on. And much respect to 5%, much respect to their athletes, Caleb, SMP, Jack, the rest of you guys. You know, we're all still fam. And a couple days ago, I got a quick DM that I'll share with you, and I think I shared on Instagram, where I was called like one of the OGs, and I really, that's hard for me to take in, because, you know, I wasn't sponsored, I was a reseller, and you know, but it didn't matter. Rich, you know, he took care of everyone the same, and so you know. He often told me, he goes, well, Rob, why do you even want a sponsorship? He goes, you're going to do something bigger and better later down the road. He goes, for right now, man, what you're doing is phenomenal. You know, you're getting our product out, and you're making a more of an impact than you could as a sponsored athlete. So why do you care about that title so much when what you're about to do in the future is going to be so much bigger? And, you know, at that time, I couldn't really understand what he was saying. And I still don't, to some degree, because when you're going through it, you don't really see what you're going through. You're just kind of going through the motions and making things happen. But like I said, you know, the guy was a visionary. He could see down the road, where some of us just see that tree in front of us. He saw the woods, you know what I mean? He saw everything. He saw the bigger picture. And while some of us are just focused sometimes on just what we're doing, Rich wasn't just focused on that. He was focused on everything. And when he shed that knowledge on me back in Ohio, I understood what he was saying. I took it in. It stays with me, and it manifests in time. But it's just now starting to make sense all these years later. So, like I said, it's important to keep a guy like that in your hearts and your minds and what you do. And he'll always be a part of us here at Chaos Nutrition, mainly because of the athletes that we have, and who I am and how I carry it, and the respect I had for him and what he did for me and putting me on the map. And that'll never go by the wayside. So I hope you're out there, guys, doing whatever the fuck it takes to reach your goals. And I say that at the end of every one of my videos, because honestly, the way the world is right now, it's so negative. And it's probably been this way for a long time. You just haven't really opened your eyes to it. But being in a negative world like this, it's hard to achieve your goals. It's hard to get by with so many people being on antidepressants and so many other types of pills to get them through the day, or drugs, or whatever it is. You have to understand that, you know, everything, it applies, whatever it takes applies to everything, right? Whether it's your job, whether it's your business, whether you're trying to break a habit, whether you're trying to, you know, kick a drug habit or an addiction. If you apply whatever it takes, okay, to whatever you're about to do, it's going to be epic, because you have to check that box every day and say, did I do whatever it takes today? You know what I mean? To reach my goals, to kick this habit, to kick whatever I'm trying to do, or to be successful. And if you can't check that box, then you know you've got work to do. And that's okay too, because that at least lets you know where you are. And it's a self-check. It's not a check coming from someone else, or you're being, you know, damned. It's a self-check. So ask yourself this day and every day going forward, am I doing whatever the fuck it takes to be successful? And if I'm not, how can I apply myself to get to that point? On that note, guys, I'm about to hop in here and get some work done. Until next time, I'm out.